Thank you. All right, folks, I'd like to call to order the Township of Lopatcong regular meeting for February 2nd, 2022 to order. I would ask that everyone please bow their heads for a moment of prayer. Pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided indicating the time and place of the meeting in accordance with Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of 1975 by advertising a notice in the Star Ledger and the Express Times and by posting a copy on a bulletin board in the municipal building. Roll call, please.
Yes, Councilman Belcaro, Councilman McQuaid.
Here.
Councilman Polito.
Here.
Council President Wright.
Here.
Mayor Menounos.
Here. Public comment on agenda items only. Hearing and seeing none, we'll move into old business. Number one are the minutes for the December 29th and January 5th executive and regular sessions. If everyone's got a copy of those minutes and has a chance to read them, are there any questions or additions? Hearing and seeing none, I'll take a motion on item number one.
Motion.
I'll second it.
Councilman McQuaid.
Abstain.
Councilman Polito.
Yes.
Council President Wright.
Yes.
Mayor Menounos.
Yes. Number two, which is not on your agenda under old business, is for the sidewalk, which will be running from Will Do Avenue. It stands for William DeWitt, down to First Street in North First Street in Delaware Park.
So it's a resolution to approve the sidewalk plans and authorize the execution of a county sidewalk agreement.
A motion on that?
Motion.
Second?
Who was the second?
That's right.
Councilman McQuaid.
Yes.
Councilman Polito.
Yes.
Council President Wright.
Yes.
Mayor Menounos.
Abstain. I'm abstaining because that sidewalk happens to run through my property. So I will abstain on that one.
Number three is amended resolution to amend the redevelopment plan resolution that was done at a previous meeting to authorize the council to prepare the redevelopment plan with the township professionals. The prior resolution was my mistake. I said the planning board would prepare the redevelopment plan, but it's the council as the redevelopment authority who will prepare the plan with the township professionals. It will then go to the planning board.
All right. A motion on number three?
Make the motion. Second.
Councilman McQuaid.
Yes.
Councilman Polito.
Yes.
Council President Wright.
Yes.
Mayor Menounos.
Yes. Under new business, number one is ordinance number 2022-01. It's a first reading to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank. Any questions, comments? It's just a formality, really.
Just the first reading.
Yep.
Make the motion.
I'll second it.
Councilman McQuaid.
Yes.
Councilman Polito.
Yes.
Council President Wright.
Yes.
Mayor Menounos.
Yes. The consent agenda, items 1 through 7. Is there anything anybody would like removed from that? Hearing and seeing none, can I have a motion on the consent agenda?
Make the motion.
I'll second it.
Councilman McQuaid.
Yes.
Councilman Polito.
Yes.
Council President Wright.
Yes.
Mayor Menounos.
Yes. Council reports, Mr. McQuaid.
I have none for you, Mayor.
All right. Thank you, sir. James?
I'm looking to schedule a joint recreation committee, EDAC committee meeting for the third week of this month, depending on the availability of the members.
Okay.
And that's all for now, Mayor. Thank you.
All right. Mr. Wright?
Get ready. Feel like Joe Fire.
The seat.
I hate to keep asking about this, but are we past the date again for the zoning for the trucks in those parking?
So.
I inquired about that. Yes, I saw that.
Yes, and there were summonses issued today. As soon as they're dropped off to the court, they'll be scheduled, for them to appear in court.
Second part of that question, is it possible for us to change our ordinance, to get rid of that 30-day wait time and do like maybe 2 days?
No,
There's no way?
no, that's
No?
a zoning regulation.
Oh, really?
You have to give people notice, if they're doing something wrong, and give them an opportunity to do the right thing.
Unfortunate.
Yeah.
Okay, tried.
No, but at least now we have the opportunity.
Yeah.
But he can continue to write, now that he has given the notice, he can continue to write the violation as
So
long
we
as
can
those
send them out
trucks
there
are
every
out.
day if we want to.
Well, he's here once a week,
Yeah,
so
once
once a
a
week he can write
Well,
it.
then let's send them out once a week. Get it done. Let's see, question, the recolt, was that what it's called, recolt, summer?
Recreation Commission
Yeah.
of Lopatcong Township, yeah.
Are we doing anything with that this
We
year?
haven't, we have not done anything with the program because of COVID.
COVID, right? You think we're gonna do anything this year? A few people asked. me.
Well, so we need a new house, and I don't know if the pavilion, is suitable, something we could talk about, especially when we come up with the layout.
Yeah, it's early enough, maybe we could do something.
Sure.
Yeah, okay. I guess what, we'll go back to number one for the.
Number one.
For the, resolutions. We held some interviews for a keyboarding clerk. We interviewed 4 people. There's some really good people that applied, but I would like to propose that,
So we're gonna, not to cut you off.
Okay,
So
good.
we're going, you want a motion to authorize to extend the offer to the person we discussed in executive session for the salary that we discussed in executive session. And then upon that person accepting the offer, we'll do a formal resolution at the next meeting, setting forth the person's name and their salary and any other benefits that go along with it. But this way, in case you make the offer and they decline.
Okay.
So we do it that way.
so everything that, Katrina said, we'll do. That's what I said to me. No.
I wouldn't-
Okay, no,
That
okay.
way, in case they don't.
Oh, okay, so, okay, so that's what we're gonna do.
So we need a motion.
So I'd like to make a motion, I'll make that motion.
Second.
Now, Councilman McQuaid,
Yes.
Councilman Polito,
Yes.
Council President Wright.
Yes.
Mayor Menuchia.
Yes. All right, anything else?
That's it, no, that's all.
All right, the only thing I have tonight is, we need to take care of the issue that we had concerning personnel. Number 2 with our tax assessor.
Yes, so the tax assessor made a request for payment for something, and I just need a motion to authorize what you decided in executive session.
Okay, I'll make that motion.
I'll second
Councilman McQuaid,
Yes.
Councilman Polito,
Yes.
Council President Wright.
Yes.
Mayor Menuchia.
Yes. Paul's going to talk about our community pool. I believe I've talked to this several times. It's a double-edged sword for me. It's a very expensive project to possibly redo that pool. I would like to put it on a referendum and let the people of the township decide. It's been a staple of our community since 1967. We have not opened it the last 2 years. We will not open it this year. The community has changed from when that pool opened in the 60s and 70s and even the 80s. It was a good place to go. It was a good place for our kids to go. Now, as the community has grown, Delaware Crossings has a pool, Warren Heights has a pool, Overlook has a pool, Autumn Ridge has 2 pools. So, and fortunately or unfortunately, a lot of families have 2 parents working. It used to be when I was a kid, mom did what she had to do during the morning, packed us up, took us to the pool for the afternoon. That's when she talked to the other moms and we talked to the other kids. And once we got of age, we went there by ourselves. The times have definitely changed. We used to fund a lot of that pool with, dances and whatnot. We tried that a couple of years ago. We had some problems with the dance. We said, all right, we would sell tickets so we would know how many people were coming. I think we sold like 4 tickets. It was more of a thing on a Friday night where parents just kind of said, hey, we'll drop the kids off at the pool. We'll go out for dinner. The kids will have a good time at the pool and we'll go. So we've lost that also. I will tell you this, that if it goes to referendum, which is what I would like to see it do. If it fails, there's still going to be a cost to it, because I will not let that structure sit there like they did down, not to criticize another town, it's simply a fact. They let the Alpha Pool sit there for 20 years before they tore it out. That will not happen here. If it goes down, it's coming out. That's a way too valuable piece of property that we could put maybe a community center on it or something. I don't know. My father was mayor of this township when that pool opened. So very hard for me to sit here, and it's like cutting out a piece of my heart to stand there. I was a 9-year-old boy when that happened, but times, and I don't know how it's going to go. My heartstrings say, let's fix it up. I did take an impromptu survey on my own during our township cleanup, and without putting a price tag on it, because I did not have a price tag at that time, a lot of people, to my surprise, said, fix it, and, get it done. I just, with the minimum wages going up the way they are and whatnot, I just don't see how it'll ever, at this point, it's become a community service. It's just a question of how much money we want to lose running it. It's really what it is. So, again, my heart tells me one thing, my business sense tells me another. It's just everything has a time. Nothing lasts forever. So, we'll see. But that's what I'm aiming to do, is put that up for referendum. So, with that, Paul, I'll let you speak to it.
Thanks,
We'll go from there.
We had conducted a preliminary conditions assessment of the pool. As the governing body and the public are aware, the pool's been closed the last 2 years. Obviously, some of it had to do with COVID, but there is a leaking condition over there. The pool is not holding water right now. So looking at the pool in the field, we think that the age of the pool has something to do with the leaks. We think that the concrete is old and cracked and very porous at this point. We don't think the coping is marrying up very well with the concrete walls right now. We think that's a source of leaks. The piping system is old and beat up at this point. It's very, very old. It's over 50 years old. The expansion joints, we think, are a big source of the leak, and they were a big source of the leak up in Belvedere when we rehabilitated the pool up there back in the late 90s. That's the sister pool to this particular pool. So there's some big contributors in our mind to the leaks that the town has been experiencing that are causing the pool not to hold water. We think that there's some serious safety issues there having to do with lack of ADA compliance, lack of compliance with ladder requirements, lifeguard stand requirements, main drain requirements that absolutely need to be fixed before this pool is open to the public again. We think that the kiddie pool is a big safety issue. The steep drop off into the pool, you may think 2 feet is not that great, but for a toddler, that's a real problem. Both pools have obsolete filtration systems, particularly the kiddie pool. The kiddie pool has like a homeowner type filtration system associated with it, and this little shed built into the slope there. So
That
both
was not always there either.
Right.
That was somewhat of a booster put in maybe 20 years ago.
Right. The pool is really, if you look at what is typically done in a municipal pool now, in the way of design, it's very obsolete what we have there. Typically, you have, and this dovetails into ADA compliance, you have zero entry, meaning it's level entry for people going into the shallow end of the pool. Both the kiddie pool and the adult pool, you would have that. So there have to be some very significant retrofits to the pool to be able to accomplish that, quite honestly. So there are a lot of contributing factors to the leaking that are going to be very expensive to fix. There are a number of safety issues that have to be addressed there to allow the pools to be opened back up. And quite honestly, if we're going to do that much work, we should really try to address its obsolescence, particularly when you're looking at the type of entry into the pool for handicap accessibility, the zero entry. Actually, typically these type of pools aren't as deep anymore. I know it's 12 feet deep. Typically, you try to minimize or scale back the diving board. That's
There was a high
safety
dive
and
at
liability.
that pool
Yeah,
for years.
it's a liability issue. So There's a lot of things that are not being done in this world anymore that are there that you would probably redo as part of any project to take care of the leaking that's taking place there and addressing all the safety issues, particularly ADA compliance right now. So this is going to be a very expensive venture. Just doing a preliminary analyses on the cost there. And we need to fine tune that number. And I know we're on the verge of hiring a park planner, and the pool is going to be part of that particular analysis, so we'll get a second cost. And hopefully, looking at these two costs, if we do go the referendum route, we'll have a bona fide cost to put into that referendum that the population here in the township can look at and assess as to whether or not they want to make that type of investment for the pool or not. So, but the pool's not a pretty picture right now from various reasons. That was our assessment.
Okay.
So thank you.
All right. That's it, Paul? Nothing else?
Yes, thank you.
Chief, you have anything for us other than your normal report that we've already gotten? All right, thank you. Need a motion to approve department reports?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Payment of bills? I'll make that motion.
Second.
Beth?
Councilman McQuaid?
Yes.
Councilman Polito?
Yes.
Council President Wright?
Yes.
Mayor Mosher?
Yes. Folks, questions, comments? John?
I'm only asking this for one reason. There are leases being signed, and there are statements that are made on leases. Basically, if a lease says it can change rules reasonably, but says it will not affect the monthly rent on page 1, that's what's on the page. Then it says there are various add-end parking, heat, water, at least one which states it overrides the general lease. They outline payments and currently charges asked at $0.00. They state that this can change when the lease is renewed. And the rent control, as far as rent control statute goes, does the statute prevent hidden charges if a resident signs the addenda, and are they bound if they are prohibited by the statute? And then I know it's in here in the rent control ordinance. From the effective date of this chapter, no landlord may demand to receive fees for any new service or for any services previously provided without fees. And it goes over.
Sounds like you need an attorney before you sign your lease.
Yes, that's the situation, you see. That's the problem. And leases are being signed or asked to be signed. They have refused me 3 times a paper lease. I may do it electronically because there's 30 days to deal with it. I'm going to my daughter's next week, so I may do that. This is another individual that brought this up. And so from the effective date of this chapter, any existing fees presently charged by a landlord may not be increased for any reason under this chapter. Any landlord objecting thereto and seeking to increase an already existing fee may make application for the same to the rent levying board, setting forth the present fee and service provided, the amount sought, and the reasons for seeking an increase, including documentation costs claimed to be the basis for an increased fee. In no event shall fee be increased in a greater amount than the automatic yearly increase. One of the reasons is another thing I'm thinking of is in one of their statements. And another statement they make at the beginning of one of their leases is this is a legally binding lease that will become effective within 3 business days. During this period, you may choose to consult an attorney who can review and cancel the lease. See section on attorney review for details. That's something. But other things that they're doing, it talks about is some kind of relationship between heat, square footage, cubic footage, trying to backdoor fees for, no.
They can't charge you any fees
Can't
over.
do that.
They can charge you like a pet fee.
Yes.
That's an additional
Yes.
service, but
Yes. Parking fees or changes of that nature. I know they do charge us for the handicap spots, not for the spot, but for
For a handicap
a handicap sign and pole. That has raised up over the years, but that's something that
it's
they've
not in
been
the
accepted.
jurisdiction.
Yeah. So that as far as the thing about charging those hidden fees, they can't do it.
3%.
If-
have to prove some sort of hardship, right?
Yeah, they'd have to come in and say, we have a hardship, we need to raise the rent before they could raise it for reasons of hardship.
Yeah, but they couldn't raise it for just cubic footage, and they're using too much heat unless they come in and they present themselves.
They would have to
Okay.
prove hardship.
Okay, very good. Sorry to bring around living board question here, but it's really imperative that I get these answers soon because people are having to sign leases. One last question. If, like, my digital lease would have started to be presented to me on Monday. Now, I'm going to my daughter's next week, won't be back for 2 weeks. If I sign that digital lease and each section of it asks for you to accept certain things, but I can't look at it yet because because you can't see the next pages unless you sign each one, each of the 7 sections.
They said to me that if you wanted a paper copy, they would provide you.
And it says that.
They said they might charge you a fee for the paper copy, but they acknowledged that they could not
Okay.
force you to do it online. If you want a paper copy,
Okay, now, if I look at it online, I think it makes you agree that you're gonna sign it online. You know what I mean, within that now.
it sounds like they won't let you get to the next thing until you sign it,
Yeah,
so.
yeah, that's what
And
it
be
is.
afraid you sign it and then it's over, but
Yes,
I wouldn't sign anything that you don't agree with, even to get to the next section.
okay. And I am talking to Legal Service Northwest Jersey on Tuesday, and I'm waiting
Because
until
this is
then.
all outside the rent control board.
Yes,
Paper
yes,
lease.
no.
I just, when the
I'm-
complaint came in, even though it's outside, I forwarded it to the landlord because I have a
Yes.
contact with the landlord, but
I'm-
it is outside of them.
Okay, I'm glad you
But
presented
I'm
the
glad
answer.
you're calling legal services.
Okay, thanks. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Attorney Katrina, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Don?
Thank you, Council President, for asking about trying to change that. Unfortunately, can't be done, but thank you for trying to do that. Just a couple of things. The redevelopment plan,
Yes.
so I know you guys are handling that. So how does do you actively seek out people to, or businesses to use those plots of land, or do you advertise, or does the owner advertise? How does that work?
Right now, all they're doing is setting the plan, so they're just deciding what the uses should be in those areas. So they'll work with Paul, they'll work with George Ritter, the planner, they'll
Okay.
probably contact the property owners of those pieces, because if they have ideas, like, oh, I've always wanted to do an indoor skating arena, but
Right.
it's not permitted in my zone, then they'll consider that. They consider,
Okay,
or I've had offers to do something, a parking lot even.
right, okay.
And then they'll evaluate that, and then it's more of a plan. I don't know if you were around when we did what is now a big warehouse out there, but originally the plan was a Wegmans and box stores and
Oh,
things like
yes,
that. And
yes,
so
I
that was the
remember.
plan, because that's
Yeah.
what council wanted.
Yes.
And then it sat because no one could build that because of what the economy was.
Right.
So then someone came in with a new idea, and a plan is just an ordinance. So they set it, and it can always be amended and changed if a new idea comes in, a better idea, or things change, the economy changes. So
Okay.
it's really just a plan for possible uses.
Okay.
So that's why council will work, it's more the planner and Paul who will work on it. But, just their contact here, and then the planning board will take a look at it. And then it will be done by ordinance, first reading, second reading, public hearing.
And done. Okay, and because it's because it's a redevelopment, you have more leeway to change zoning? Is that how it works with redevelopment?
Yeah, you can, so something that's permitted on something in the redevelopment area, normally you have to change the whole zone.
Right,
This way, it's just the pieces that we put in the redevelopment. So the
okay,
Phillipsburg Mall obviously is kind of this piece unto its own.
okay.
So we can kind of look at that one as one piece, and then there's a couple other pieces that they included, and they'll look at those pieces kind of probably together, but they don't have to look at the whole Route 22 corridor and say, whatever we change here, everybody
The whole
gets to
thing
do.
has to get-
So
just-
it gives more flexibility,
Okay.
and you can do things like overlays, where you say, well, you get to still do all the things you were doing before, but you could also do these uses, so.
I gotcha. Okay, thanks for that
It's
explanation.
a process.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sounds
but
like it.
Lengthy process. So,
Second is, did we give any approvals at all to NFI and Bridge? Any preliminary approvals for any?
Bridge has preliminary.
Bridge has, but not NFI. Okay, all right, that's good because of the driveway situation. And I know I was at the planning board meeting and I see that, there was some weird stuff at the end of the meeting with NFI, with buying Berry property, Berry Plastics to allow.
They have said that that is their plan, and they wanted to come in and amend their application, and I don't know if the planning board has even ruled on that.
No,
but
they
I
haven't.
think they're gonna tell them it's a new application, but that'll be for the planning board to decide.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, that was my next question, because that's not a variance, that's like a huge, huge deal.
Nobody asks me, but if they did, I'd say that's a whole new application.
Yeah.
Which then falls under the current existing.
Exactly, they would not be
Somebody's gonna need to show
grandfathered
me
in.
where that's not a whole new application.
Yeah,
Well, because there's
That
more
would
people
be-
to notice,
It's,
the testimony, some of it is irrelevant, but
new
that will
ballgame.
be for Mr. Bryce to deal with.
okay, I just wanted to see how that was, what the next steps were for that, and if it were, opinion that it would be a whole new reapplication process and not just a variance. So, okay, thank you for that. I talked to the chief about a couple of things on Meadowview Drive, so he's going to take care of that, so thank you, chief. And just a quick, there's no videos on the web, are you guys not posting them anymore for any of the meetings?
We're still
Or
doing
is it just not down
You don't
because
have a
something
person
else?
to do it right now.
We don't have a person at the
We're getting
moment to
that
do it.
person, so.
You're getting a person, okay. I just didn't know if they were not gonna be on anymore, or if
No,
they
no.
were just, there was a thing on a glitch or whatever. Okay.
Staffing shortage.
Okay, a staffing glitch, okay. And Beth, thank you, I didn't get to you for that. I don't know if you can do it tonight. Okay, thank you. I think that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else? Questions, comments? Yes, sir.
First off, thank you so much for bringing us up to date on the Twilight, the lot next to Twilight. I think that's fantastic that these guys are finally getting summonses. I'm sorry, John Ketcherson? Does that include, has the Phillipsburg Mall property been warned at all? Because there's been an awful lot of.
I'm pretty sure.
Our section of it.
Right, yeah.
And I believe Cohascon's acted on their,
Most of the
Too.
mall is in
So-
Cohascong.
Mhm.
So the line runs, that little piece of grass next to the Taco Bell, so the
Mhm.
Taco Bell's in Pohat, and so the line runs on a diagonal like this, so it's where the Sears used to be and a couple of those inline stores,
Okay.
and that's it.
Okay,
So just that parking lot on that far end is Lopatcong.
okay,
But I believe the zoning officer issued a violation
okay, good.
for that too.
I've seen an awful lot of trucks parked, to me, it's like, all right, where is that line? But it seems to be kind of west of where Bontons, was it Bontons?
Yeah.
It used to be.
yeah.
People working on trucks, there's a couple truck.
There's some
dropped
trailers there.
I
I've
drove
seen
through
it.
there today and the guy had just dropped his trailer, so they're using that too as an active.
The zoning officer was looking at the old Bell and Howell,
Old Bell
and
I
Howell,
would say,
Mhm.
Twilight.
the mall, and then that truck parking next to that
Mhm.
truck stop, the gas station thing.
Okay,
We're
good.
still working on that one. That one I know violations have not been issued, because
Okay.
we're trying to figure out what the approvals were way back when for that before we issue a violation that's not a violation.
Right.
But that one's,
Yeah.
20 trucks in that parking lot the other day.
Yeah.
That section.
How many?
About
well, if
40.
you ask.
Yeah, I've
Great.
noticed is that, either their business has really picked up
Yeah.
or or they're parking trucks there. So let me see. So along the lines of, Mary, you had returned the email to me and said that we can, if we see things that we can, and we take pictures of them, we can send them to them, but send them to you? You weren't really,
You could just, you can send it to me if you want. I mean, or just see to it that they get here. We'll give them to our zoning officer and whatnot, so.
okay. Yeah, I don't want to
He's
inundate
in-
you with a bunch of.
Yeah,
The zoning, it's zoning at LopatCongTWP.com if you just want to send them to Andrew, too.
Zoning@lopatcong.com? Okay.
yeah. If-
TWP.com. like Township.
Okay.
He's only here on Tuesdays. But he can-
Okay.
But he can, I do believe he checks his email more than once a week, so.
Fantastic, thank you.
Even during the week, so you
Yep.
can send it anytime.
Okay, thank you. And the last thing, you talked about the pool today. I grew up in a lake community, so, I was kind of like you. My parents, in the morning, I'd say goodbye, and in supper time, I'd come home, after spending the day at the lake. And from that perspective, it's like, man, you hate to lose a pool. But as a taxpayer, it's like, maybe we could do something, if we just do something with that instead of just get rid of the pool, maybe if you had mentioned maybe a community center or something.
All options are open at this point
Yeah,
for that,
yeah,
so,
so that would,
again, it's about, do we put a splash park in? I don't know.
right, yeah.
Something to that effect, that seems to be more in vogue
Mhm.
than a baby pool or anything like that at this
Yeah.
point, so.
You hate to dump a lot of money in and then just,
I've always said there's like a 75-day window there, really,
Yeah.
to make money. And the concession stands and whatnot, so, it's a big undertaking.
sure is.
And like I said, you have to have certified lifeguards, and then when they go back to college in the early part of August or by August 10th, then you're short-staffed, and it's just,
Yeah, it's understood.
it was a great piece of this community
Yeah.
for a long, long time.
Yeah.
But it's 2022, it's not 1967.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Anyone else, questions, comments? Hearing and seeing none? This is pretty good. 8:07. Motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Folks, thanks for coming out, appreciate it. Almost a good time.
Yeah.
I was gonna say.
Slide our shuffle. Slide our shuffle.